Henry Kopna-Kukufu is in the studio, and we'll want to invite him. Now, thanks for joining us. How was your Yuletide?
Yes, let me begin by saying good morning to your cherished viewers, and wishing everybody New Year, a happy one, and a prosperous one, and a victorious one for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And we.
Why do you begin your speeches always with victorious one? You always greet Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Well, it's something we need to do because he's our own, and we have presented him to the people of Ghana. So it's our duty. We are duty bound to make people of Ghana know that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is ready for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your reaction to Tete Chai, for example, claiming that is an act of hypocrisy, if I can describe it, and deceit on the part of some ranking members or leading members of the minority who would claim that the government or perhaps the finance ministry was in deceit of them and of the people of Ghana following that very bill that was passed and resulting in the increment in the petroleum prices. Your reaction?
Yes, it's so simple. We've been told over and over again that with regards to fuel pricing, we have this independent body or mechanism that does the pricing. It goes up when the factors so demand. It comes down when the factors so demand, the individual factors.
So well, you were talking about automatic adjustment formula.
Automatic adjustment formula. And over countless occasions, government have said, I do not have a hand in it. I'm not responsible for hikes in petroleum prices and all that. So the government has coupled itself from pricing of petroleum products. However, this passage, this energy sector levy that we passed in Parliament, sought to, as it were, bring the government back into the picture of adjustments of petroleum products.
Into control?
Into control, yes.
Of prices?
Of prices, yes. So we argued on those bases at that time on the floor of Parliament. And we were made to believe that no, this is not the case. The case is the PDCs and the automatic adjustment will continue to flow. Indeed, if it had not been this high, we should have been experiencing a downward trend of 10% reduction on petrol. That is how the adjustment would have gone. 10% reduction. But rather, we've seen almost 27 to 28% increment. So that is where the deceit is. Another case, we approved of 7.5% increment, the levy, the tax on petrol, 1.74% on LPG. But here we are. We know the market has experienced 18% on LPG, 18% hike on LPG, and then almost 27 to 28% hike on petroleum. So how do you reconcile both? These are pertinent issues that need to be discussed passionately. So, Parliament, have we been such changed? Is it the case that we were made to believe that...
So it's not as if the minority is just crying foul for crying sake?
No, we have a point there. And I want to suggest to our leadership that we either summon Parliament back to the House and then bring the minister to come and explain why. Because we approved, and it's there. I don't think my brother will argue on this. Sub 5.7% on petrol. And now we are experiencing 28%. LPG 1.74% taxes on. So the question is, why this desperation? And just this morning, on one of your sisters, I've had the impression that the government is so lazy, the government is so incompetent when it comes to revenue generation internally, to the point that the easy target of petroleum products is there for them to take. Other sectors of taxation here and there, it is a clear admittance that it has failed or it is not working or they are not working. So let us target petroleum products. That one, no one can escape. So we can. So one day, you wake up and you'll be buying petrol for almost 100 million or so, and that would be the best way for them to do.
Well, our lead producer, Derek Ekosam, has promised to call officials of the Africa Center for Energy Policy for us to speak to them very soon. We'll try to have them on the line. But as far as this is concerned, what he's raising, based on what was approved, or is their understanding of what is approved and what is being implemented, really don't seem to gel or reconcile.
Well,
what did you approve in the House?
It depends on...
It came to the committee of the whole, ultimately.
It depends on the understanding of my colleague as to the 5% and then the 2% increment on the fuel. But for me, that wasn't the only thing I saw. I was talking of the road fund levy, for instance.
Did you know at the time that this very passage of the energy bill into act was done, that ultimately, after all that, taking into cognizance the levies that needed to be also told for the road fund, etc. Ultimately, we're going to get a congregation of about almost 28% for petroleum product and about LPG pegged at 18%. Did you have that foresight?
I didn't do the calculations, but I was interested in, apart from the percentages that were very clear, there were other increments that were also going to be built into the whole thing, and definitely it will push everything up. I gave an example of the road fund being 7 pesos to 40 pesos. It's a huge jump from 7 pesos to 40 pesos. Now, all these things have been factored into the cost build-up. Yes, he rightly said that if this thing has not been done, the prices of petroleum products would have gone down by about 10%. Now look at the various taxes that were put on the petroleum products. These were huge margins. So definitely, you should expect that.
But he's saying government is being deceitful, and so just trying to...
you see, my worry is that there's no deceit in this. No. If government want to deceive the public, it wouldn't have brought this thing to the representatives to look at what it intends doing. I don't think that is a right statement to say. Well, the increases would have come at a time that people felt situations were becoming difficult. That is another argument. But to say that government was deceitful in terms of what it presented to the House, I beg to differ. And you see, I don't want to say something that will incur the wrath of my colleagues on the other side. Because when documents come to Parliament, that is why we've been voted into that House. To assimilate documents that are brought before us, analyze and know the implications of what has been brought before us. Before, if we have to give approval, we give approvals. So for me, I knew from the onset that with the various taxes, if you look at lighting, that is street lighting, it was also part of it. It was also increased. And these were all increases that will accumulate into the percentage in terms of the fuels levy and other things that you were talking about.
The cost build-up.
The cost build-up. So definitely, you should expect a jump up. And it definitely...
As a parliamentarian, you don't seem worried about the level of the hike. You just seem to think it's normal, it's justifiable, or you think that's just another issue we need to discuss separately?
That is also another issue. Because for me, when it comes to taxes, I also have a different view.
Okay. Because
I believe that it is more prudent for us as a nation to generate our own resources and use it in building our nation.
Okay. So you think that it's prudent for us to tax ourselves?
Than going outside, borrowing at a very high cost to develop ourselves. So for that one, we can also tackle that issue. But my worry is the fact that when documents are brought before us and we refuse to do the due diligence, for me, It is unethical.
Do you find it almost unpardonable or almost insulting for him to say perhaps you don't go through documents adequately?
Absolutely. You see, we have a situation where we had our ranking member for finance committee, Anthony Akutose, Honorable, and then we had our ranking member, K.T. Hammond, for energy sector. They argued on the floor of Parliament that these taxes are going to increase petroleum prices. They argued, and we all argued. That was our thinking. We were assured by the Deputy Minister for Finance on the floor that it is rather going to ensure decrease in petroleum prices. This is where the deceit is. We have gone through the document, why not? We've made our points clear and everything. And for you not to remember that your own deputy minister had said that and has assured the House that we are not going to see increment in the products. We were not going to. That was the assurance, and it's in the Hansard. From here, we will go and cross-check, and then we'll bring you a copy for you to read, for the whole Ghana to know. So it is absolutely unfair on his part to have made that statement, because he knows, as much as anything, he knows the kind of debate, the kind of thing that goes on in the House on the part of the minority.
How do you think you on the side of a minority could have glossed over this? Have had this as an oversight, so to speak?
Nothing was.
Or could have been deceived in that way.
Yes, of course. You see,
is that possible?
That is what I'm trying.
The level of intellectuality.
No. You see, we are looking at the resultant. We are looking at the end results. You put 1, 2, 3.
You are saying that vision was not portrayed to you.
Exactly, because this is 1 plus 1. And we all know 1 plus 1 is going to be equal to 2.
So you raise those concerns, but yes, you are assured that, oh, that's not how it is.
Exactly.
But
so
in the implementation,
something else is coming up. So we are seeing now 1 plus 1 is equal to 3 now. Can't we question? When we are being told.
Why is it that you didn't question earlier?
We questioned 1 plus 1.
But got assurances.
And said 1 plus 1 is 2. And we are assured ourselves that 1 plus 1 is 2. But he goes out there and 1 plus 1 becomes 3.
All right,
so
now
we have every right to
now you wanted to make a comment because it's a related.
I'm still not getting what is happening.
You're still baffled that.
You see, at the committee level, that is where you have every opportunity to scrutinize the document that has been
scrutinized.
Wait.
1 plus 1 was 2.
Wait.
So what are you saying?
Wait. The technocrats will be there to respond to all the issues, and those things are factored into the report. Get a copy of the report.
Did the report say that you're going to increase petroleum products?
You get a copy of the report, and then read what the report of the committee itself, what they said about the increases.
What did they say?
No, I want him to get a copy so that Ghanaians will know exactly what happened.
But we can help Ghanaians.
You see, the committee system, that is where all the work needs to be done. Look, on the floor of the House.
This very energy bill, did it go to the Finance Committee or it also went to the Energy Committee, the Mines and Energy Committee?
No, it went to the Finance Committee. That is where...
Why is it that, as far as the technicality of it, you don't have another committee that has also oversight responsibility looking at it? Because this one is as if only the financials.
Let me help you. You see, I want to be general and straightforward here. We cannot be hiding behind Parliament, and then get things done which goes against the people of Ghana. Suppose Parliament has done something and it is not in tune with the welfare of the people.
Is that the case now?
Yes, of course, because, you see, let us be straightforward. We are governing, and they are being governed. I mean, the people of Ghana are being governed. I heard him talking about the confidence in politicians. It's weighing and going down because of the way we do our things. We hide behind some of these things. Parliament has approved it and that, and we went to the committee and so forth. You get to a point where one day Ghanaians will get fed up with our governance systems and structures. Fundamentally, we have been told that fuel prices are automatically adjustable. That is clear. When the world market price...
That is still automatically adjustable.
Exactly.
Look, don't go there and say exactly. That is where we are lying to the people of Ghana. That is where the deceit is.
Honorable,
tell us the truth.
It is still automatically adjustable from the MPA and its dealings with the BDCs and the OMCs. But then an additional tax that is emanating from the executive,
yes,
with parliamentary approval,
yes,
has been added to the adjustable pricing component.
Exactly.
So
if that one outweighs,
but you are saying that's a surreptitious way of the executive to
exactly, and even undermining the adjustable system itself, because that is where
that's an indirect way of
That's why we questioned on the floor of Parliament. We questioned, yes, but this build-up is going.
I think you makes a lot of sense. No. You don't think so?
I don't know.
You're not thinking because where you are coming from.
In principle, yes, it is available. It is working. But in practicality, it's been compromised. That's
and undermined.
No.
As a result of that, it's okay.
Who did that?
As a result of that, the organized labor, the ICU, the TUC, they've not been happy, and so they had to go into negotiations on Tuesday with government, and the lead negotiating person was the labor minister, who tried to negotiate or perhaps dialogue with leaders of organized labor. And it was all in a bid to make sure that they reduce the percentage points in terms of the level of increment for both utility tariffs and also the petroleum increases. What do you make of where they've reached? Because it was almost, it is really a deadlock.
Yeah, TUC meeting the labor minister is not something that came out as a result of the current fuel increases.
This one just seemed to have.
Exactly. I quite remember when the adjustments in terms of the utility services, in terms of water, electricity came up. There was the need for them to negotiate with government because they were not happy. Even the time of implementation, they were thinking even the implementation should be after or at the beginning of this current new year. So that process has been ongoing, and I think yesterday they met to discuss further. Yes, it is in order, because at the end of the day, when there are increases, the individual is affected, and labor unions definitely needs to negotiate to see whether, as a result of the increases, government will also find a way of cushioning them. So I believe that with the current level of collaboration or cooperation amongst the trade unions in the country, and then the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations, I believe that that cordial relationship should continue, because gone are the days when in such times you see a lot of aggression, a lot of various institutions flexing their muscles to show who is who and so on and so. This time, I believe that the professionalism with which labor and then the ministry on the other hand are handling matters are the best for us as a country, and they should listen more, dialogue more, arrive at a consensus that will inure to the benefit of the entire
for critics of government, somebody will say his speech is just being diplomatic, just semantics. Really, the problem is that there's been a steep upward adjustment of petroleum prices, but before then, another an even more steep upward adjustment of utility tariffs. And according to the critics, increasing the toll on Ghanaians as far as their expenditure levels are.
You see, the broader picture must be looked at. Government finds itself in this desperate corner moment now, because things have been done haphazardly of past. We told them that running to IMF were going to incur some kind of hardships to the people. All these things are IMF conditionalities, and they are part of the build-up IMF bailout. Go and increase tariffs, go and increase petroleum products. Then the government finds itself in a tight corner. It comes around and then want to find a way out of the situation. In the case of petroleum products, the government couldn't have, as it were, increased it through the automatic adjustment formula. That was not going to be possible because the world market price of crude continues to come down. They will talk about the stabilization of the city, the forest aspect. It is incumbent on government to stabilize the city. It's not my problem. It's not yours. It's not the problem for the ordinary man on the street to stabilize the city so we can have a fair deal on that level. So the government finds itself in the quagmire of despondency, the easy way, the targeted easy way of raking in revenue. And IMF tells you that utility services must be, the prices must be high. And you go up there and you do, because you've signed for the bailout. So we all know, and the government knows, that Ghanaians are going to suffer for the next 3 years. It's going to be so difficult for us. How come that the ordinary worker on the streets is so much so burdened with these hikes, and the wage, the salary increment, everything stands still? Even the IMF is telling you no more employment. The IMF is telling you don't go beyond this negotiation level when it comes to salaries and compensation for the workers. So my point is, it all boils down to incompetency. We've run the economy in such a way that we are now in a ditch, we are finding a way out, and we are doing more harm than good to our own selves. But the people of Ghana are suffering for nothing but out of incompetence way of running the economy. The laziest way you can look at it, just target one area and then heap all taxes on there, and then the money will be coming, whilst you do nothing at the rest of oil. We have had oil in commercial quantities, which never happened under J.J. Rawlings, the former president, not under Kufuor. Put together, this government have borrowed so much money. Now our debt portfolio is around 100 billion cedis.
Have we got 100 billion?
Yes, yes, he will tell you. Yes. Just recently, we passed $1 billion Euro bond in Parliament. Another loan. Just recently. Before we rose.
And that makes it 100 billion.
Yes, now our debt stock is over 100 billion Ghana cedis. Yes, go and check.
Well,
it's an assignment for you, colleague. Go and check.
Thank you.
100 billion Ghana cedis, unprecedented. You inherited 9.5 billion, and it has ballooned to that level. And we are still finding ourselves in this quagmire. Abysmal doldrums. And we do not know where to get out of. All that we can do, the only hope is that come November 7th, you vote this government out of office. They have reached their pinnacle. They have reached their climax. No more tricks.
They've saturated.
They are saturated. They are like old dog, knows no new tricks.
You know?
So the bottom line is, Ghanaians, we must brace ourselves for more hardships. We must condition our minds that we're going to...
How do you predict that? We're likely to face a lot more hardship?
No, we've been told. We've been told, and the signs are clear on the wall. Coming events cast their own shadows. Yeah, the very beginning of the year, your good year message is a hike in the petroleum products. And I can assure you, it's going to go up. Prices are going to go up before June.
Yes. Okay. But the reality is you have constituents. And at the end of the day, he also has constituents.
Exactly.
The general population is reeling from some of these things. Yeah. While we may, in all respect, applaud the TUC and the way they are negotiating with government,
yes,
it may come to a certain head if they don't make headway in reducing the percentage levels, because it's very steep.
Well, for me, in negotiations, it's a give and take affair. At the end of the day, proper negotiation ends with a win-win situation. The TUC has a case, and for me, there are several ways of mitigating the effect of the increases. if you look at the increases in terms of the petroleum products, yes, one, to raise revenue, to support certain sectors of our economy. In raising the revenue, government knows how much it is going to, or the projections. And based on the projection, if there are setbacks, government can use some of the, how do you call it, the revenues that it is going to get as a result to cushion. It's the same tax that will be used in supporting our welfare as a nation. Is that not it? So,
well, if you tax here, you use it for expenditure.
Exactly. And so therefore, I believe that that is the essence of raising the money. So if there's the need for workers to be cushioned, why not? Government is ready to do that. And that is why government is negotiating with the TUC.
Okay, so we have an insight from the ICU leadership. They were part of organized labor that met the Minister of Labor, and we want to play that to you.
Well, you could see the give and take on the issues. If you look on the side of the stakeholders, that is GridCo, UCG, water, they really have got challenges, okay? Challenges that if we don't take care, they would ground to a halt and nothing can happen again in this country. Then on the other side, you know, the equation must all the time be balanced. If you take that of labor as well, and you take that of the employer, this time around, labor has teamed up with the employer, because without the employer, we cannot be there. The pressure and the burden over there is also collapsing the businesses. So which one do we take and which one do we hold? So with I would call it a rehearsal of lamentations of problems on the other side. You know, they lamented on their position, we also lamented on our position, and with the 2 hours that we sat in there, it came out that, look, let's re-engage again. So we believe 1 week interval should be okay for both parties to reflect deeply. Well, employers have given a signal that if this thing should continue this way, already our multinational companies that we have here, they've started ceding away some of their products to Cote d'Ivoire and nearby countries, where ostensibly power is cheaper, power is better than here it is now. So it means we are getting lines of our various port shut. We are getting workers also becoming redundant on the job. And if this will happen again, then it means we are going to see real redundancies being flashed on our face.
The leader of the ICU, Mr. Kote, and speaking to us after that very meeting that they had with the Minister of Labor. But that also gives us an insight, because it's more like government is opening up what the reality is to labor, and the labor is also understanding. So they all just need to come to certain compromises.
You see, something has been said. Prevention is always better than cure.
What is supposed to be prevented?
You could have prevented this economic mess that we find ourselves.
But we're way past that. We have to deal with the realities.
Yeah. Now, the issue of taxation is fundamentally, it's not too much of a problem for anybody. We do know that industrial countries, they all thrive on taxations and all that things and all that. But the question people have been asking, what are we using our hard-earned taxes?
You're in Parliament. What do we use the revenues for?
Good. The executive is engulfed, or the entire system is engulfed in so much corruption, so much waste in the system. For if you can have 3.6 million Ghana cedis to go and brand buses, where lies your priorities, the opportunity cost? We were in Parliament wasting time and energy resources trying to review public commission, what do you call it? Public Service Commission, the entire budget for the year. And it was about 2.2 million Ghana cedis. The entire budget for Public Service Commission was not up to 3 million Ghana cedis. And we were looking through it to pass it. Whilst somebody, a minister or whoever, with the stroke of pen can give an order for 3.6 million to be used on buses. We are here in this country where we know that money sent to SADA, a very, very important project to benefit the people of Ghana, were squandered and used for nothing. We are here. JIDA scandal is on our hands. We are here. Countless, wastage in the system. That is where the problem is. People will be happy to pay.
So you're saying that we could have taken actions that would have prevented
all these
the current difficulties we're facing.
Exactly, we could have. That is why I've always referred the gurus in journalism to IEA debate 2012 in Tamale. I mean, a lot were said about that. A lot more. All the contestants then, the presidential aspirants then, I mean, everybody gave out what he would do with the economy, the way of running the economy, expanding it and all kind of things. So down the line, are we experiencing what President Mahama told us then? Is it what we were promised in Tamale? If it is so, then it is a complete failure. It is a complete deceit of the people of Ghana, judging from Tamale.
That's your last point, though, because we have to take a break now. Your last point.
Yeah, I will always say that we have a shared responsibility.
You and who? Because the taxes and all the impositions are coming from you, and you want us to bear with you.
No, I said we have
as legislators and executive.
Yeah, we have a shared responsibility.
Because you are saying we're in this together.
Our role as members of parliament is to ensure that we put the executive to check in terms of how our resources are spent. Because we are the same people who allocate or who approve the allocations.
Are we doing?
Then it is a failure on your part if you are not doing that.
A failure on the part of the institution of parliament, of which you are the majority. Because you carry your number to vote out.
Allow me to speak.
You carry your number to vote out what is good for the people of Ghana. And you say the opposition will have...
I have to take a break.
The minority will have...
No.
Honorable Theophilus Setechai is a member of parliament for Ablekuma Central. And we've also had in the studio Henry Kwabena Kokofu, who is a member of parliament for Bantama. We're taking a break. We'll be right back.
What happened with